Hey everybody, today is Tuesday, April 7th, the day you should be watching this video. And so today we're going to cover a number of different things, but right off the bat I just wanted to say I've already gotten a number of emails saying, what is this book talking about? What's going on? Yesterday you guys read chapters 1 through 3 of book 1, and trust me, I know it's confusing. I know it is difficult. It is just going to take a while to get used to Charles Dickens and his style of writing. So if you've ever heard the term flowery language, that's sort of what Dickens is doing. So his language is very descriptive. It's certainly not straightforward. He uses a lot of different literary devices. He uses similes, he uses metaphors, he uses personification. And so you just have to be really patient with him when you're reading, which is why yesterday in your video I told you I really want you to pay close attention while you are reading. You cannot be on your phone while you're reading. You cannot be talking to other people. You have to be reading very intently, and also you should be annotating. So you should have a pen with you so you can be marking as you read. That is really the only way to read A Tale of Two Cities because it requires your full attention. So I understand when I first read A Tale of Two Cities, the first couple chapters, I was like, what is going on? But I promise once you stick with the book, you will start to visualize the characters, the different places, London versus Paris, and you'll start to actually see it kind of create a story in your mind as we continue reading the story, but you have to stick with it. I know it's difficult. Just take your time when you're reading, go back, reread things. I promise it will help. Always feel free to ask me questions too while you are reading. We're going to go over chapters 1 through 3 tomorrow, Wednesday, because today you have your quizzer. So that is the first thing you see on the daily agendas for today. It says take the book 1 through 3 quizzer on your computer using this link. So you should, by the time you're watching this video, you really should have already taken the quizzer. If not, just make sure you do that sometime today by midnight. It is due by midnight. And again, it's 3 free response questions. It's timed. You only have 4 minutes. So hopefully you've already done this, you submitted it, you're good to go. But don't forget to do it. That's the first thing we're doing today. And so because you're taking your quizzer today, we will talk about chapters 1 through 3 tomorrow, Wednesday. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to analyze the first sentence of the text. The first sentence in and of itself is plenty confusing, which is what we're going to look at today. And in order to do that, I want you to first understand a couple key terms. You might be familiar with them, but if you're not, that's what we're going to look at. So this is number 2 on the daily agenda. So if you go to the daily agendas, it says open this PowerPoint on denotation versus connotation. And I have it up here so I can keep along with you. All right, so if you look at slide 2, so slide 2, denotation. This is the literal meaning of the word. So a couple examples. A red rose is a flower. A rose is a flower. Same with strawberries. Strawberries are a type of fruit that we eat. And then lastly, a puppy, the definition of a puppy, the literal meaning, it is a young dog, right? So denotation, that is what something literally is, the actual meaning of the word. Now, if you go to slide 3, so connotation. So this is something that is suggested by a word, something that's implied, so not the literal meaning. So the example I give you, you see the SpongeBob comic. So in the comic, SpongeBob says, I love you, baby. And the denotation of the word, right? So if you were to take the word baby, the denotation, the literal meaning of that word is a young child, right? A very young child or an infant, right? That would be the literal meaning of the word. That's the word's denotation. However, the connotation, the way the word is being used, it means endearment, right? It's a term of endearment or affection. And so in this example, the connotation of the word baby is different than the denotation. And so the reason I'm teaching you this is when you are reading Dickens, I want you to pay attention, right? Some words, their denotation, their literal meaning might be one thing, but the way they're being used, their connotation might mean something else. Another example of connotation, so let's take the word juice, right? So the literal meaning of the word juice is a fruit drink, right? Something that is made out of a fruit that you drink, that is juice, apple juice, orange juice. However, you like to use it to mean flirting or talking to, right? Across the room, you yell juice, and you are typically using that to mean flirting or something of that nature. And so that would be the word's connotation, right? The denotation of juice is the little drink that you drink that comes from a fruit. The connotation means flirting or talking, right? So that would be another modern example of denotation versus connotation. If you have questions about that, feel free to email me, but hopefully it's it's pretty straightforward. Denotation and connotation, again, you might already be familiar with it. So that was the second thing on the daily agendas. And then the third is watch this video, which is good. You're doing that. And then after you watch this video / while you watch this video, you are actually going to analyze the first sentence of A Tale of Two Cities. So what I would like you to do now is go ahead and open your book to page 1, and I'm going to read the first sentence to you. So the first sentence goes as follows. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light, it was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair. We had everything before us, we had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven, we were all going direct the other way. In short, the period was so far like the present period that some of its noisiest authorities insisted on its being received, for good or for evil, in the superlative degree of comparison only. Now, that is quite the sentence, right? A lot going on there. And so what I'm going to ask you to do today, so this is your classwork assignment. So again, right, be thinking when we're doing this online teaching, this is your classwork assignment. This video so far has only been 6 minutes. You took a 4-minute quizzer, so basically we're roughly 12 minutes or so, given some transition time into our online class. So your actual assignment for class today is number 4 on the daily agenda. So it says analyze the first few lines of this handout. So if you click on the handout, what you'll see is the first sentence that I just read. So the very first sentence of the book is repeated, it's spaced out, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. And so what I would like you guys to do is I would like you to annotate this. So you can do this one of two ways. If you want to just maybe perhaps rewrite the sentence on a sheet of paper, I would recommend you just print this off. If you don't have a printer, you can jot down what you see, or you can maybe jot it down in your book. Because you're not actually turning in your annotations per se, you're going to turn in an analysis of this first sentence. And so your annotations are going to help you. And so what I mean by annotate is you're basically going to dissect this sentence. And so what I want you to do, also keeping in mind what we just learned and discussed about denotation and connotation, right? What do different words mean? What do they actually imply when they are used? And so what you're going to do, if you look at the directions, it says thoroughly annotate the following lines. Then on a separate sheet of loose leaf paper, which you are not actually going to do, you're going to type this, obviously. But you are going to analyze this quote for its diction or word choice. So diction is another literary term, and it means word choice. And I'd like you to look at specific words. And so in doing so, include references to denotation and connotation, right? So those terms we just learned. And then also tell me what you think this quote means to the novel as a whole. So why does Dickens start out with this quote? What is it saying? What does it mean? Why do you think it's significant? And you are going to type this, and it should be 3/4 of a page in length. So those are the directions at the top of the handout. If you look specifically on the daily agendas underneath, so number 5, it says this is now your classwork time to type this analysis. So your classwork time. So now what I'd like you to do is spend maybe 20 minutes or so, and I would like you to actually analyze this sentence. And so once you do, I would like you to type up that analysis. So you're going to submit this to Turnitin.com. So it should be typed using MLA formatting. So remember, MLA formatting, everything that it includes. So I will now list everything. Some people got confused last time in my last video. MLA formatting, it means it should be size 12 font. It should be Times New Roman font. Everything should be double spaced. Your heading should be on the left-hand side of the page. It should be your name, Mrs. McGrath. Make sure you capitalize everything correctly. So my last name has a capital G in it. So it should be your name, teacher's name, class, and then date. Then also you should have a title, right? So your title can just be analysis of the first sentence, right? Something like that. So you have a title, and then underneath the title you have your actual 3/4 of a page analysis double spaced. That is MLA formatting. Please make sure you do it correctly. I'm trying to get you guys in the habit of practicing. This is all you'll do once you get to college. So again, looking at A, B, and C under number 5 should be typed using MLA formatting. Should be 3/4 of a page in length. Don't make it more than a full page. That's a bit excessive for this exercise. And then lastly, you need to submit this to Turnitin.com by Wednesday, April 8th at 11:59 p.m. So today is Tuesday, April 7th. I am giving you class time to do this. So really, you should be able to do it right now. Go ahead and submit it. Move on with your other homework. However, Because of the nature of this remote learning, I am giving you a little bit longer to do it if for some reason you've got a lot going on today, something like that. So what I would like you to do is submit this by tomorrow night, Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. However, again, try and do it right now. It'll help you as you continue to read. So that's what you're doing now. So again, looking back at the handout, your analysis, you're going to go through, you're going to look at each of the different words. The one word I will help you with, because most people have never even seen this word in their life. So if you look at the second line of the sentence, at least in the book, and then on the handout, this is the third line, it says, it was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity. And so the word epoch, first of all, that's how you pronounce it, so make sure you pronounce it correctly. It means time period. So it's talking about a time period, right? So it says it was the time period of belief, it was the time period of incredulity. And so if you don't know what those words mean, of course you'll want to look those up in order to go ahead with your analysis. But what you're doing right now is dissecting this first sentence and you're writing your analysis of it. Hopefully that should be pretty straightforward. It's going to take a little bit of thinking. You need to be a little bit creative. You need to study the different words. Pay attention to what is capitalized. How are things juxtaposed? Pay attention to the specific language that he uses, right? So the diction or the word choice. And then again, look for literary devices as well while you're doing this. So that's the main assignment for today. You learned about denotation and connotation. Like I said, tomorrow we'll talk about chapters 1 through 3 after you've taken the quizzer today. And so that's your classwork assignment, is to do this analysis due tomorrow night, Wednesday, April 8th by 11:59 p.m. to Turnitin.com. I would suggest you go ahead and do it today though. Once you have done that, so your actual homework for today, so if you look back at the daily agendas, your homework for today is to read book 1, chapter 4. So it's just one chapter because I am asking you to do this analysis as well. So depending on how long it takes you to do the analysis, I didn't want to overburden you with reading because, again, the reading is tricky. So tonight you just have one chapter to read for homework. After you do the analysis, go ahead, turn that into Turnitin.com, and then tonight read, annotate, take notes on chapter 4. And that's about it for today. And tomorrow, like I said, we'll go ahead, we'll talk about the other chapters. I'm looking at the daily agendas for Wednesday, making sure there's nothing else I'm leaving out. Yeah, and we'll do another in-class assignment. We'll review chapters 3 and 4 to help you guys, and that will continue throughout the rest of the week. We'll keep moving through the first couple chapters of A Tale of Two Cities. So if you're having questions, if you find something that's super confusing, feel free to email me. I know it's a tricky book, so I'm here to help you. And again, just remember, I miss you. Wish I could be with you. So until the next video, see you guys later.